ourselves like grasshoppers, and so to them we seemed like grasshoppers. The idea is that these were giants, and there were giants in that land. Archaeologists tell us the same thing. In that area, by the size of the beds, by the size of the tables they ate at, and things like that, there were giants in the land at that time. Okay, that is the Canaanites. Some of the Canaanite tribes of the pre-Israelite era in that land were giants. People of great stature, like Og, king of Bashan. We talked about that in our Old Testament survey class. And then Sihon, king of Heshbon. Great stature men, okay? In other words, a race of Goliaths, okay? A race of Goliaths, and these little Israelites are looking at these guys saying, oh boy, oh, not here, okay? But they had already defeated Og, king of Bashan. They had already defeated Sihon, king of Heshbon. They defeated them during the time, okay? They defeated them earlier, okay? And so God is going to give them the victory again. And they said, no, there are giants in the land at this time. Giants in the land, and they devour their people. Now notice what chapter 14 verse 1 says. Then all the congregation raised a loud cry, and the people wept that night. One translation says they wept all that night. An evil report caused the people to cry all night. Okay. And all the people of Israel murmured against Moses and Aaron and the whole congregation, and said to them, would that we had died in Egypt. What does discouragement do? It takes away courage to live. And now we're saying we would have rather died than to be out in this wilderness facing these giants in the land. It takes away a reason to live. That's what discouragement does. How is discouragement brought about? It's brought about by an evil report or evil talk. Isn't that amazing? Anybody that comes to you with evil talk, understand that they're going to walk away with some of your courage. Can we all say amen? They're going to rip you off of some of your encouragement. Okay? Some of your life force, your very life force. Have you ever talked to certain people and their talk was so evil and so pessimistic that after talking to them, it takes you 3 or 4 days to recover, to get back to yourself? Okay? Have you ever talked to people like that? I mean, there are certain people who say, Brother Devore, we need to talk. And I'm not going to get to you for at least a couple of weeks. Okay? I don't want to get to you, all right? I don't want to talk with you. Because I tell you what, I don't need to hear the evil that's coming from you that's going to rip me off of some of my courage. Okay? One of the causes of discouragement is evil talk. Here are some people who have the God of heaven, who parted the Red Sea, the 10 plagues against Egypt, victories over the Amorites in the wilderness, and all kinds of other victories, manna from heaven and quail from the sea. God had done all of these things, and here they are discouraged. They are ripped off of their courage. Prior to the spies going into the land, they were all encouraged. Go spy out the land. We're ready to take it. And then, guess what? You just don't know what I know. Guess what I saw in that land? Look, let me tell you what's happening in that land. And let me describe what's happening in that land and why we can't take that land. And for that reason, discouragement spread because it's infectious throughout the camp. And what happened? They all died in the wilderness, save Joshua and Caleb, because they did not stop the evil talk. The discouragement talk, the talk that takes away courage. They did not stop it, folks. The effect of encouragement goes along with the definition. That's our third point. The effect goes along with our definition. It kills the will. It takes away courage to live, folks. courage to live, courage to dream, courage to have goals. It takes away, it rapes one of courage. That's what those are the effects. What were they saying about God? They were saying about God that, number one, you are not all-powerful in their discouragement. They were saying about God, you are not all-wise, because you wouldn't have brought us out here, God, okay? You were a fool to bring us out here to die. What were they saying about God? They were saying about God, God, you don't know everything, because you would have known how powerful these people were, and you would not have brought us out here. What were they saying about God? They were doubting the immutability of God, the omnipotence of God, the omniscience of God, okay? The omnipresence of God. God, you must not be here. They were doubting all of those things about God in their discouragement. Okay? One of the greatest stories I know about discouragement are two of them stories. And that is the famous saying about the fifth column. During the late 30s, the Spanish had a civil war. And you've heard of General Franco and so on. The great civil war in Spain that lasted a number of years, okay? A couple of decades at least. The Spanish Civil War in the late 30s, when General Mola announced that he was besieging Madrid, Spain, capital, with 4 columns from without and a 5th column from within. And the 5th column was coined. Tokyo Rose used it and Adolf Hitler used it. And that is the 5th column of propaganda, evil talk that discourages. Okay? You see, from without I'm attacking, but I've gotten in with a 5th column of discouraged people that will discourage the soldiers, and they will fall at our whim. Tokyo Rose, World War II, remember that? Okay? I mean, here you in a foxhole. And somehow she's gotten some of the names of the people in the foxhole. And then she's talking over the radio saying that San Francisco is on fire. Los Angeles has been totally devastated. The entire Pacific Fleet has been devastated. You need to surrender. And hold it. There is a baby that was just killed, and his name is Thomas Johnson III. We want to alert Thomas Johnson that your baby has been destroyed in this fire, and your wife and your mother. And naturally Thomas Johnson, ow! And he dropped his gun and they blow him to pieces, okay? Discouragement, folks. The 5th column, okay? Create a 5th column if you're going to beat these people. What did the United States do in the recent war? Okay? All the bombings, and they let CNN do their thing, right? Okay? They let CNN do their thing, and guess what? A 5th column was developed, okay? Okay, despair, discouragement set in the Iraqis, all right? And then some of their leaders began to run from the battlefield. And then when the American soldiers came into Kuwait, they were met with a bunch of surrendering Iraqis, okay? By the thousands they were surrendering. Why? Because a 5th column had been developed. Okay? A 5th column. A column that is there to discourage. Well, folks, that's what's happening in the church. Okay? All right? That's what's happening here. That's what's happening at Uptown. That's what's happening at Revere. That's what's happening in every congregation of the Church of Christ. You've got a 5th column, but it's your decision individually how you are going to respond to that 5th column. Satan put him there. Okay, he's been influenced by humanism, existentialism, hedonism, communism, atheism. All of those isms are influencing him through media. And he's there. He's Satan's ally, or he's from Satan himself.